And welcome back to another episode of Over the Glass. I am your host, Ness.
And I am Jay.
We have a lot of things to talk about today. We're going to start off with our usual with the update on the Stanley Cup Final. Since they are
It's over.
Finally over. If I had a little bit of confetti, I would throw it. My God, this was the longest. I feel like this is the longest postseason in a long time, but maybe it's not. It just feels that way. Something to celebrate. Corey Perry did not win another Stanley Cup for the 5th year in a row.
Womp.
That's a lie. He didn't make it to the finals in 2023, but 5 years now, in the last 6, Corey Perry has made it to the finals and has come up short each time. This year is just another example of that. We don't care about this guy. He put the Sharks through a lot when he was playing for the Ducks.
We have zero sympathy for this dude. Like, at this point, he should just toss in the towel. Like, he's the problem.
Whatever team.
He literally is the problem.
Whatever team he's on, they are not going to win. I feel
Stay over for him like kryptonite. Stay away.
If he wasn't on the team, on the Oilers, maybe the Oilers would have won the championship, but that was their downfall.
Well, they're gonna hope that third time's the charm, because McDavid is on his final year of his current contract. And I don't know if you've seen, I don't have anything official in front of me, but dude's not, I mean, he could say these things and then realistically he might be like, no, like, I must stay with Edmonton. Who knows? Like, I guess I want to feel like McDavid's the type of guy where he's like, look, the number one thing for me is the cup. And as much as I feel that way, I guess we'll see how things go. I think if anything, that Edmonton front office has a lot of work in front of them, because I looked at their roster shortly after the Oilers lost in the final cup game. A lot of their team is on their final year. So I don't know what kind of magic you need to make happen. I mean, Kane is definitely another problem on your team. Like, bro decided, I'm going to go around slashing people in the last minute or whatever of the game, which I watched the last 10 minutes of that game. And it's just sad. It is sad for them to be down 3-0. And I get it. You pull your goalie 7 minutes left in regulation, because this is it, right? This is it. You can't, you've got to get at least one. And it was over before you could even like muster any hope. And then they pulled him again, and then they scored another empty net. I'm like, this is sad. This is like the part that I hate about the NBA, where you're just smacking people in the last, like, how many minutes, because you're trying to, stay in the game. You're trying to, maybe they'll miss the free throw and you'll get back into the game. Like, that's kind of how I felt in those last 7 minutes. Like, this is boring. And if you're an Oilers fan, you're probably like on another level of despair. But as a fan that has no allegiance to either side, I'm like, man, this is a boring ass game.
Yeah, the Oilers were out from the beginning. Check the score. Like you said, they were down 3-0 in the first period, I think. And it gave shades of, how Game 7, Sharks against Vegas. The Sharks just could not muster any sort of energy to come back until Pavelski went down. And the Oilers just couldn't. They weren't in it, and it was just like, this is going to be the worst, like the most boring way you could watch a game. What game was it? 6?
6,
Yeah. dude, like, put some fight in it. Do you want to win the cup or not? I don't understand. And they just went down. That was it.
I saw somebody on Twitter post a picture of the Toronto Maple Leafs lifting a banner that said like went
Yeah, I
against
saw that.
the Panthers like in 7 games or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like good job. Good job.
Congrats, I guess.
But yeah, I don't
To
know, man. This Oilers team is not
Is
only
not
in
it.
Canada, but you've got McDavid, who in some ways I feel kind of bad for the players because you have to go back out there after they've scored like 2 empty netters and you know your season is just about over. Like, I mean, they kept Skinner in there for the rest of the game. So it's like that you could kind of tell like, oh, they know their chances are done. And they want to stop humiliating themselves with pulling him and, you know, not generating any momentum. But like to have to skate out there for the last 5 minutes or so, just being like, yep, this is pointless. Like in that respect, I felt bad for them. But yeah, that's about as far as my feelings for them went.
To add salt to the wound, after the Panthers won the cup and were celebrating in their locker room with champagne and whatever, they started blasting Pink Pony Club. And
Biggest trolling ever.
yes, which I'm gonna try not to take this too seriously and just look at it as a troll thing. I just hate that they're using this song during Pride Month.
Mm-hmm.
These men don't care about Pride. Whatever, let them have it for now. But yeah, these trolls, the trolling continued, right? So they're dancing to this song, they're celebrating. We're taking the cup, we're taking your song, and then they go to dinner after, or whenever it was, and Brad Marchand starts doing Brad Marchand things, and he goes and starts tagging every single team that let the players on their current roster go during trade deadlines or free agency or whatever. And the Sharks were tagged a couple of times, which I was surprised it was only twice and not 3 times because they also got Vanacek from us during this past trade deadline. But he tagged the Sharks for Nico Sturm and Jonah Gadjevich, which I forgot he was on that team. So whatever.
You know what?
Yeah.
I took that as a positive. Like, yes, you're welcome. Even though you didn't play any of our guys, minus maybe Gadge was out there. I didn't watch any of these games, so I don't know. I know that like Vitek didn't play a single game, and like Bobrovsky was out there like standing on his head, keeping them in the game or whatever. But like, we know Brad's a troll, but I didn't take it as a trolling because it's like you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but I saw a little clip of an interview. Someone asked him about it, like why'd you do that? And then he said like, I just wanted to bring attention to how dumb these teams were for letting these guys go and how smart our team was for picking them up. And it's like, that's not how this works. Like,
I'm not offended.
right.
You needed to let them go, spread their wings, go somewhere else. I'm happy for Nico Sturm. He's 2-time Stanley Cup champion. You know, like if I didn't touch the ice at all, I'd still be celebrating because it's like, hey, you know, if I played 1 or 2 games with you in the regular season, I helped out. I deserve this ring. Vitek Vanacek. I mean, yeah, I'm just looking up what we got in these trades. For Vanacek, we got Patrick Giles, which from the little bit that we've seen from him, I kind of like what he brings to the table. We know our situation with goaltending, and Vanacek doesn't work in that plan. So I'm not offended. Nico Sturm, what did we get? Traded to the Panthers for a 7th round pick in 2027. Oh, wait. Sherm was traded, Florida Panthers. Oh, we gave them the 7th round draft pick in 2027 in exchange for a 4th round in 2026. So helps us to just continue generating the pool. Maybe we do something more with that later down the road. Gadjevich,
I think we lost him to free agency.
Yeah, let's see.
I don't think the Sharks wanted to extend him or whatever.
Yeah. So he went his separate way. So, you know what? Good for Gads too. You know, we were going through our rebuild. No reason to keep him around if he doesn't work into that plan. So we're always happy to see former Sharks players go on and do better things and ultimately get the prize that they're all interested in, which is to win the Stanley Cup. So
right.
Your trolling does not work here, Bradley.
Bradley. He also went on his social media to, I think during their parade yesterday or whenever it was, a couple days ago, he was wearing a shirt to troll the Oilers again. Gino Hart on Twitter said, "The summer of Brad rolls on, this time trolling Oilers fans with a quote-unquote loser shirt." So it's basically him wearing a t-shirt. I don't know what the full t-shirt is, but he just shows the logo that is a parody of the Oilers logo, but instead of Oilers, it says losers on it. So this guy is doing things that you are not surprised seeing him do. So.
And what did I say last episode? I'm pretty sure I said this. You can go back and you can listen to it. I said if the Panthers win this series, it's going to come back to the trade to get Marchand, because he might have not been the one to, like, you know, be the clutch player in the game or whatever, but he did contribute. You know, right. He was a pest out there. He scored goals. You know, he got in there. We know how he plays. You know how he has this experience in the playoffs. And I can't recall what the Oilers did. I mean, outside of trading with us to get Jake Wallman, which, again, I didn't watch this series, but I do like to check the stats every now and then at the end of games. And whoa, Jake Wallman in that game was the worst defenseman. And, you know, it's a team sport, so I'm not saying it was on him, but yikes. Him and Bouchard. So I don't know if they were paired together or whatever, but oh. All that to say that it was probably like the Panthers probably came out swinging and the Oilers were just trying to survive. A friend of mine, we were talking about leading up to this game, and like I was kind of expressing like, I don't really care. I just kind of wanted it to be over. And she's like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Like, I'm just kind of watching, you know, casually, and it's hard to get into it when you don't care about either team. But she also was kind of pulling for the Panthers because apparently the Oilers goaltending has been very subpar. I mean, I can already tell with the fact that they were swapping between how do you say his last name? Pickard. Yeah, Pickard and Skinner. So there wasn't like a, you know, we know that they're hoping Skinner would be their 1A for like the long haul, but he didn't have the best season, and it looks like it was carrying over into the playoffs. So if you think about it from like an objective perspective, like Bobrovsky was like the grade A goaltender in this final matchup. Like, I think I would personally also be pissed if like if the Oilers somehow dragged themselves into Game 7 and won it there over on the backs of mediocre goaltending.
Yeah.
So
fair point. I didn't watch any of the games, so I don't have much input other than I wanted both teams to lose, and I didn't get what I wanted, so there's disappointment there. Yeah, I guess before we move on to more what's happening more around the league, I'll go through our sponsor read. I know the the Stanley Cup is over, but this is what we have currently. If you guys, for some reason, still don't know, can't see our screen here, our sponsor is DraftKings. The fastest game on ice just hit another gear. Welcome to the Stanley Cup Final, where legends are made and every shift could turn the tide. And now with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can take every slap shot, breakaway, and overtime thriller to the next level. New to the betting on Stanley Cup Final, you're in for an exciting time. Getting started is a breeze. Fire up for DraftKings Sportsbook app, pick your team to win, lock in your wager, and you're off to the races. It's fast, simple, and puts you right in the middle of the action. Here's the kicker. New customers who bet just $5 will score $300 in bonus bets if their wager hits. That's right. Turn $5 into the Stanley Cup Final payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN. That's promo code THPN to unlock $300 in bonus bets when your $5 bets win. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in New York. Call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Born in Ontario, bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Copyright 2025 NHL. So obviously the NHL season is over, but there are other sports going on. Dang, the NBA's are, if the finals are tonight. Who's playing right now?
I haven't a
MLB.
clue.
You can watch baseball. Tomorrow, Monday, who is playing? Hold on. Let me pull this up. I was not prepared for this bit. My bad. Let's see. The Mariners against the Twins. Mariners are negative 112. The Twins are a negative 108. So they're pretty even there. The Cubs against the Cardinals. Cubs are a negative 105. Cardinals are a negative 115. The Red Sox and the Anaheim Angels are Boston is a negative 132 and the Angels are a plus 108. Aside from that, you know, you can always bet on the WNBA if y'all want to watch some basketball as well. Oh, maybe not. They're not playing? Oh, well, y'all can check that out. Download the app, put your bets in. There's all their sports you could be watching out there. So thanks for the support. Now, I did want to mention, because we were talking about the Panthers, this is kind of ties into it a little bit, but Roman Josi was just announced that he was recently diagnosed with POTS. If you guys don't know what that is, it stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. It's a condition that can lead to a number of symptoms from lying down to standing up. From what I understand, from what I've heard, it's like if you stand up too fast, you can get really dizzy. Your heart starts racing. It's like a multitude of symptoms, and it can be really scary, which is interesting that he was diagnosed with it because it's more common in women, right? Like the percentage of men versus women who get diagnosed with it it's like a huge difference. But this article, this Tyler, oh gosh, how do you say his last name? Cool.
Sure, sounds about right.
Earlier this week, he says, the discovery of Josi's problem came when Josi went for a checkup in Denver recently. According to the interview, Josi felt like his issue came from the concussion suffered after he received a hit from Florida Panthers forward Sam Bennett in a game on February 25th. The hit effectively ended Josi's season after playing in just 53 games. So we all have feelings towards a certain Sam Bennett and his playing style. he became known to me when he played against the Sharks one time, and he obliterated Shimmick's knee to the point that we heard that
Late unnecessary hit.
completely tore his ACL or something, and he was in so much pain. People in the audience were like, you could hear him screaming in agony. It was terrible. This guy is always taking cheap shots. He's always injuring people, and somehow, was he the one who was awarded the Conn Smythe? Like he had
Actually, yeah.
He had an insane postseason run, but like I wouldn't have given him this the trophy. Like you're causing problems out here for everybody. One of like star players now has POTS, like that's just serious. This league has to do better.
But I do want to bring attention to the title, the headline of this article with the typo. He not only has POTS, he has Sith POTS. It's even worse. The Sith is supposed to be with, as the headline says, predator from Josi diagnosed is supposed to say with POTS, but it says Sith POTS. And I'm like, oh man.
The dark side is
come back from the dark side, Roman. It's okay.
Oh my god. Yeah, so this is really unfortunate. Like I'm curious to see how his career goes after this, because if it has to do with like your heart speeding
my
up.
understanding is when from sitting to standing, one of the symptoms that you're like related to your heart and thus interacts with your blood pressure, and then if it is in balance, of course you're gonna like faint. So
Sure.
For the average person, that's pretty crazy to just go about your daily life, but this dude is the top defenseman on the Nashville Predators. From this article, it seems like they're figuring out a good treatment plan, and he's optimistic. I don't know if this is related to what the doctors are telling him or if it's just his feelings that he would be ready to play for next season. Of course, like POTS, there's varying levels. You know, it could be mild to severe. I've seen people who have POTS that are, you know, they like ability wise they can walk, but it's not in their best interest to do that, and then they spend most of their time in a wheelchair just to help regulate their symptoms. So of course it doesn't seem from this article like Josi's on that side of the spectrum, but it's you know, like not too long ago, Henrik Lundqvist, like his career ended because of his heart condition. Like, and then I mean, he tried to see if he could come back, or you know, whatever aspect of his attempt to do that. But if you're planning to try and go 82 games into the postseason, like that's something that could really affect you, not so much in like, I mean, of course, in his daily life, making sure that he can do basic things, but like he's the grind of a professional athlete in a sport that, yeah, you have to be in your best condition. Crazy. But
yeah. I don't know how I feel about this. He quoted that over the last 8 weeks, I have undergone intensive therapy, which also included taking beta blockers. I've been feeling much better since then. I regained the belief that I'll be 100% fit again and can fully attack with Nashville and the Swiss national team next winter. It seems very optimistic, but like I don't know the damages that can cause long run, because beta blockers aren't a cure. That are kind of just there to help keep your heart at a lower rate. And obviously if he's having high heart rate levels and stuff, that is supposed to balance it out, but like I don't know, that doesn't seem super safe. I'm not a doctor, this is just my input obviously, but like that doesn't seem super great. But we wish him the best of luck, you know, like he has a whole team of doctors helping him out. Hopefully they can figure out something that he'll actually listen to and not be like, nah, I'm gonna play anyway.
Well, we know that he's got the access to the best doctors if he needs to. So no doubt he's going to be trying his best to look at every option because this is his career, you know? I mean, he's 35, so he's had a pretty good run in terms of professional years are concerned, but this would be a really unfortunate way for his career to end. Just out of nowhere, he gets diagnosed with POTS. Like, thanks, Sam Bennett. Go off and celebrate with your Stanley Cup.
Dick.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see what happens, you know. Off season is upon us with the draft just around the corner, so it's going to be a good couple of months before we're probably hearing anything more about this.
Right. Speaking of careers ending, Nick Bonino. Thank you. I practiced that. No, I didn't. Nick Bonino announced his retirement. He played for the Sharks for a couple seasons. I can't even remember, but he was a very good mentor for some of the younger guys coming up. We really enjoyed him. He's a very nice dude. And he also announced that he's going to be part of the coaching staff for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Obviously, he was a big part of that organization, won the cup with them against the Sharks. But yeah, this guy, good for him. I don't even remember the last time he played.
I'm looking through his stats now. This past season, he was actually playing in the what league is this? The Ice Hockey League, not to be mistaken for the horrible ice that is going around this country right now, but stands for International Central European Hockey League, which plays in Austria, yeah. So, I mean, I guess that kind of speaks for itself where he's like, yeah, I think it's time to hang him up and put his sights on getting into the coaching business. He had last played in the NHL with the New York Rangers. He played about half the season with them there. And saw no time in the playoffs. Was he injured then? He was put on waivers. That's why he didn't go. Oops. He was placed on waivers, and then he was sent down to their AHL and then placed on unconditional waivers, and then they subsequently mutually terminated his contract. So then he went over to the IHL league, and I guess spent that year kind of considering what to do with the rest of his career, and then came to the decision that it's time to hang him up. And yeah, so good for him.
Yeah. Also, speaking of retirement, I saw a quick article about Pavelski and how he considered coming out of retirement for a little bit this past year. Closer to the trade deadline, he was getting that itch. Like he really wanted to come back and give it one more go. Probably to rejoin the Stars because they're the ones that were in the playoff mix. And I kind of like, you can't help but wonder if he was on the team, if he would have helped like get them a little bit further past the Oilers or whatever. That's who knocked them out of playoffs, right? It's been such a long postseason.
Yes.
Yeah. Like he was the final piece. I don't think so, but still would have been interesting. All right. Stuff going on around the league. The Senators offered up an extension for our beloved Fabian Zetterlund. And so Zetterlund's going to stay there for a little bit longer. Looks like they offered him... Wait. What was it? 4 years? Dang it. I don't have it up. Give me a second.
It's a 3-year contract.
3 years. Okay.
So 3 years at 4.275. I think that's a fair contract.
So sad. I mean, good for him, but like, I really liked him here. And there's always that hope that maybe he'll come back. You don't know. Rejoin your buddy out here. Eklund misses you. I'm sure they're spending like their off seasons together, having a blast, and they don't even care about it. But like, we miss him.
Can confirm. I was sent pictures of them hanging out together
By who?
by Nate, my insider.
Oh. Nick, are you friends with Eklund? You got his number?
He's the one over there right now taking pictures.
He was like, let me send this to my best friend Jay. Yeah, so our beloved Fabian Zetterlund is locked up for another few years. Love to see it, kind of. Good for him. Whatever. More rumblings, rumor things going around. The NHL draft is coming up this Friday. The first round will be aired or whatever on Friday, and obviously with Mike Greer saying that he'll listen to any offers on possibly trading the second overall pick. People are having their speculations and their mock proposals and all this, and I came upon this one just yesterday, I think.
Nope, I don't like it. No,
I don't either, and I did want to get your reaction to it. So
leave him on read.
Analyst floats massive 5-piece trade that would see Canadiens land second overall pick from San Jose. I don't know who wrote this. Where is Elias Adame? Excuse me. So it says it's always fun and interesting to speculate, and that's exactly what the excellent Matthias Brunette and Simon Boisfort did. So they put a little proposal together. It says an offer that Boisfort, oh my god, this is hard. Boisfort would actually accept a trade involving Michael Haig, Logan Mailloux, and the Canadiens' 2 first-round picks for Michael Misa, assuming that's who they take for second overall, right? I saw this. I didn't even finish reading after that. And I was like, absolutely not. First of all, I don't know who this Michael Haig person is. I haven't heard anything about him, whether or not he's a good prospect or not, or whatever. But he
doesn't even play in a Boston team, so already Greer's not listening.
Right.
Like, Boston, didn't hear Boston, la 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 la. I mean, he's playing in University of Michigan right now, so who cares about that? But yeah, we're creating good vibes here. So no to the second person. And we know we've been hearing about how this draft is not going to be as like robust as the previous one. So what is a 16th and a 17th going to do for us?
Listen to GMJ here. They know what they're talking about.
I don't care about a 16th or 17th. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no to this. No. No. Mm-mm.
I agree.
I'm the receptionist for Mike Greer, and I'm sending this back to the sender.
Laughing in their face.
Yes. I'm gonna go LOL in the text.
Good try, but no, actually, thank you. Next piece. Still regarding the Sharks. So obviously Mitch Marner's name is going to be floating around until next Monday, whenever July 1st is. Next Tuesday. So when free agency actually hits and everyone hits the ground running trying to sign this guy. So Chris Johnston reported a couple days ago that Mitch Marner is open to shorter term deals. Wouldn't surprise me if he does a 2, 3, or 4-year deal. He said this on his Chris Johnston show or whatever, which I'm assuming is like a podcast or something. I don't know. I don't follow this guy. Which that puts the Sharks back in it, you know. We've been saying,
Marner, you know the vibes are so good here. You know they are so good here.
You
unlike
know you want a
other
piece of this.
areas of this league that I have been hearing that could possibly be on Marner's mind, you know that the vibes are great here. The media presence is on a low.
It's true. You can
Perfect.
chill.
It's perfect.
And your dad lives here, so I think you should come over. um I do. So our friend Alex Snipe City 420 on Twitter posted his thoughts on it, and I was like, you know, he made some valid points. I don't want to get my hopes up, but these are valid points. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this for y'all, and you guys let us know what you think. He says, there's four points. Point one, Marner gets paid. We could do that. We have cap space. We don't need to give him a long-term deal. 2, you give Smith and Celebrini an elite talent in their key development years. It's a fair point. They can learn a lot from him. Point 3, my bad. The Sharks give up no assets for a superstar that can bring in a haul at the end of the contract if they don't extend. It's true. Because, like, we'll get him in free agency. We don't have to give anything up. And if he wants to go contend, if the Sharks for whatever reason aren't making as fast progress as he would like, send him off. Y'all can get hella picks for him. And then point 4, Marner and his wife, who just had their first child, are surrounded by the support of the Marlowe and Thornton families. Like I said, his dad is here. They will get all the support they need. I don't know how serious he is, but like, I would like to see it.
Marner,
Yes.
just look at the track record of this past season, minus the Oilers. Don't look at them. Look at who won the Stanley Cup. We gave them. We said, hey, we need to move on from you. We're going to give you a good home. We're going to give you a chance to go for the cup. And look what happened. We got several former Sharks who won cups this year. You know, we're not saying you need to be here for the long haul. If you don't want a long-term contract, we don't want to give it to you anyway. And
right.
if you, and you know, like, okay, I don't know how much this affects him, but we've seen this in the media where they're like, oh, Marner's not cut out for the playoffs. He shuts down, whatever the case may be. I don't know if that's something he feels that he needs to prove or whatever. We know that teams are going to want to sign him, so it's not like there's any like concern that he's not marketable, right? They might be a little hesitant to like give him what he wants. Like 12, 13 million is quite a lot for somebody who may or may not have an issue with like the playoff aspect of being in this league. But I mean, I don't know if you've seen, but there have been very little moves right now for the Sharks, which is actually kind of getting me frustrated because I've seen, you know, like we talked right before we hopped on, Marchment went over to the Kraken, and I'm feeling like Squidward, like watching Patrick and SpongeBob go out and play, and I'm over here like, where are the Sharks at? Where's the Sharks news? Like, give me something. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, or if Greer's just, you know, taking a moment, kicking his feet up, taking a breather. But you know that free agency is right around the corner. We have like 40 something million to play with. Like, you want money? We've got money to give you. You want flexibility? We have flexibility to give you. You know, I already talked about the media presence not being as extreme here. If you need some time for your mental health, we have mental health services here in the good vibes, the worst, most exciting team in the NHL right now. Like, there's so much greatness happening here. I think you should come check it out. I think you should just come check it out for a couple of years. And then if it's not vibing with you, that's fine. We'll send you somewhere where you can get the cup. Okay? Okay.
See, this passes receptionist Jay's vibes, and we'll pass it along to Mike Greer. So, yeah, I like the idea. Short term makes sense for the Sharks, absolutely. When it was just talks about the long 8-year contracts and things, nah, I understood why the Sharks' name wasn't being mentioned in any of the possible places where he'll land. But I don't. Maybe he wants to come here, and he told his agent, "Put it out there. I need Greer to call me. We can talk some."
Like it sounds like he's like Toronto has no leverage. He's gonna go hit the free agency market. There's we like Alex said, we don't give up anything for him. Like if this doesn't work out for the Sharks, like I don't see this being a bad thing. You know, we nothing. We gave him, opportunity to help not only Smith and Celebrini and the other upcoming prospects, like
give him a few years to reset.
Give Marner some confidence, perhaps with no pressure from the media. Like our media is harmless. Our media is harmless.
Our media is Shang. What a fun guy.
He's gonna ask you about your favorite whatever outside of hockey, like
right.
harmless.
What's your favorite food? Harmless. Favorite restaurant? Eklund loves Chipotle. We know that. Thanks.
I think it's a great deal. So maybe that's why there's radio silence from Greer right now. I don't know if they're allowing them to other GMs to talk to them yet or whatever. I don't know. Like there's always like those little rules about stuff, but I don't know. I think Greer's got something cooking. Whether it's got anything to do with Marner, whether it's there's still speculation about Robertson. I mean, the Stars are. I mean, they signed what's his name, Duchesne. They signed Duchesne to I believe it was a 4-year contract. Where on here is the Stars? I can't find them. He signed a 4-year contract, $4.5 million. The Stars have $2.7 million, probably with. Well, they moved on from Marchment. We still have a number of guys. We know that we've heard some stuff related to Granlund. I think he deserves, being offered something that can make it work. So I don't know. All I know is there's a lot of interesting things happening, and it's probably gonna be even more exciting in the next couple of weeks here when free agency opens up. So
I think this week Greer is prepping his meal, getting all his ingredients ready. The draft is coming up. He'll probably show his hand a little bit there, let him cook a little bit. Come Tuesday next week, we'll finally know what his plan is. And then whatever comes after that, the signings here and there of veterans coming in and to help the young guys like he did last season. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of meal he's prepping. All right. Outside of NHL news, would you like to tell the audience here about this TV show that may be in the works?
Yeah, so this randomly came onto my feed, and I'm like, what? A couple of seasons ago, I ranted about this Shorzy TV show. Look, it's not my cup of tea. I can't really laugh so much about like the parts of hockey culture I'm not a big fan of. But if it's your jam, and if you're a fan of Letterkenny, which is Shorzy's a spinoff from there, like more power to you. I don't know if this is necessarily my cup of tea either, but it's definitely something I think I will be amused to just kind of like observe for perhaps just to talk about it on the podcast. But we know about the existence of Hockey Book Talk. If you're a fan of that, you're probably over the moon excited about this. I don't know if this is like a big book in like that realm, since I'm coming off of knowing nothing. But I saw this clipping from a news article from the author of this book, Rachel Reed. The headline off of the Hollywood Reporter says, Jacob Tierney adapting, quote, heated rivalry, end quote, gay hockey romance novel for TV. And then The following paragraph says, the letter Kenny and Shoresy director wrote and is helming the 6-parter based on the Enemies to Lovers Romancer by Rachel Reed and picked up by Crave. The author replied to this in her Instagram post saying, I am so pumped. This show is going to be so good. You guys have no idea. Oh my God. So glad Ilya and Shane popped into my brain years ago and never left. And then huge thanks to Jacob Tierney and Brendan James Bradley for believing in this and making it such a dream come true. Stay tuned. So if you want to know what this book is all about, I pulled up the synopsis. It says, pro hockey star Shane Hollander isn't just crazy talented. He's got a spotless reputation. Hockey is his life. Now that he's captain of the Montreal Voyageurs, he won't let anything jeopardize that, especially the sexy Russian whose hard body keeps him awake at night. Boston Bears captain Ilya Rozanov is everything Shane's not. The self-proclaimed king of the ice. He's as cocky as he is talented. No one can beat him except Shane. They've made a career on their legendary rivalry, but when the skates come off, the heat between them is undeniable.
Okay, you can go through it.
When Ilya realizes he wants more than a few secret hookups, he knows he must walk away. The risk is too great. As their attraction intensifies, they struggle to keep their relationship out of public eye. When the truth comes out, it could ruin them both. But when their need for each other rivals their ambition on the ice, secrecy is no longer an option. Doesn't that sound exciting?
You did it. You got through it. You know, I'm proud of you.
So, hey, you know what? This is great for queer hockey. Queer romance. Put it out there for a 6-parter. If it's your jam, more power to you. If you just want to praise the little things for the queer community, there you go.
That's what we're doing. Yay, Pride Month. Yeah, well, if that's your jam, check it out. Read the book before the show comes out. Let us know how you like it.
I hope things work out for them because I feel bad for Shane having to, he's up all night just thinking of this Russian.
When you got it bad, you got it bad. Oh gosh, that's so silly. Yeah. Since last thing I wanted to bring up is it's more on the serious side here, but it is still Pride Month, so we're bringing up things that are affecting our community. Unfortunately, this is not something to celebrate, but we just want to again spread some information so people are prepared for whatever is to come. Unfortunately, this administration will be shutting down the National LGBTQ plus Youth Suicide Lifeline next month, July 17th. I'll try to remember to share this again closer to that date in case anyone doesn't catch this episode. But for those who are struggling and are panicking about this, there are other numbers you can call. You can call the Trevor Project here in the States. It's at 1-866-488-7386. There is also the Trans Lifeline that you can call here in the States is 1-877-565-8860. I don't think this affects anyone in Canada, but if you need a Canadian number, it's 1-866 877-330-6366. I'm sure more numbers, more resources will pop up as the date gets closer. But yeah, just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, Pride Month, looking out for our community and all that. So take it easy. That's
Yep.
I don't know if there's any good news I want to share after that. I don't have anything else. But yeah, you have any last thoughts here?
Finally, the draft is around the corner. The thing that I've been waiting so long for, because who cares about the Stanley Cup Finals? So next week will be our final episode of the season. For we take a couple months here for a break before we're back at it here with hopefully lots to talk about after the free agency opens up and all that good stuff. But I'm really looking forward to the draft, mostly just because I want to know who we get. I don't think we're going to trade the second overall pick. I just don't, unless it's like a big package, because that what we just talked about a little bit ago, like that doesn't seem big enough to me. Especially with look, I haven't looked very closely at the draft. All I know is that we've been told it's just not as like robust as previous ones. I was seeing some comparisons with like in regards to how Schaefer lines up with other prospects that have been taken in the past, and that kind of puts it, potentially into better perspective of how he weighs in comparison to previous drafts. I mean, who's to say that a 16th, 17th overall pick wouldn't produce a player that could be pinnacle to our team? But it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of talk outside of the top 10 right now to make me feel like, why would we care to, unless we're feeling like we need more bodies than focusing on one particular player that's been like on their list. Like if they really want, like, let's say they take Schaefer, but that's fine because the Sharks have been like, you know what, we actually really want Misa. Like if for some reason they don't care about Misa and they were just hoping that like the Islanders flop and decide that no, they really want some other player than like the top talked about defenseman in this draft, like I think that would make the most sense to me, that they would be like, no, we actually want more quantity over these other guys that we looked into and we're kind of fine with passing on. But I don't see that happening. I think he keeps the second overall unless he gets like some crazy ass package that's too good to be true. Maybe something that's even like, like maybe in the top 10 or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I think if he were to consider it, like part of the package has to be a proven NHL player. Like that's silly to give it up for 2 prospects and 2 draft picks. It doesn't make sense.
That we probably won't see for another like 2 some years.
Right. No, that's silly. For number 2, absolutely not. Keep dreaming. Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to that. Also, Pride is next weekend, so anyone going out for that, have fun, be safe, look out for each other. We're riding on the good vibes as long as we can, because shit is hard out here. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's our episode. Thanks for joining us. I've been your host, Ness,
and I have been Jay.
We'll catch you next weekend. Bye.
Goodbye.